There's upsides and downsides to mergers and acquisitions. Apple opening up, letting us take a peek under the hood. And a survival that couldn't survive. Let's get into these topics. Not going to be great, but sometimes you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about it. Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, you know what I tell you, and I tell you this all the time, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. Anytime you want to drop bad news, you drop it on a Friday so it can die during the weekend cycle. Whenever you're dropping good news, you drop it on a Monday so it can live throughout the week, so it can stay in the news cycle. Well, when I heard this news coming out, and I'm pretty much knew what was going to go down. I mean, listen, I'm going to jump right into it because a lot of dudes think that I'm going to duck this fade or I'm going to duck this conversation. And it's not a fade for me, and it's not a L for me, and it's not an L for Microsoft. Dudes will want to spin it and think that this is spin. This isn't spin. There's a thing called redundancies, and you're going to hear this a lot. And I know for a lot of you people that's learning business or learning how big business works or small business. And I'm going to break it down for you that you can get a grasp on what I'm trying to explain to you. All right. So when this acquisition happened, $70 billion is the largest in video games. You know, that price tag is crazy. And it's the largest merger for Microsoft as a whole, and especially into this gaming sector, right? So this is directly tied to the gaming sector. This is directly tied to Xbox. This is what's going to happen. When you're going in, that you know that there's going to be redundancies, and I will explain in a second, right? So the deal took a long time for it to go through, and it finally did go through. Everybody that was there at Activision Blizzard King was on pins and needles. The same thing with Microsoft staff. See, what happens is when you have acquisitions of that size, of that caliber, you have, let's say you have all the marketing and all the accounting, everybody that's over Activision Blizzard King. They're used to operating how they're used to operating with their own HR department, with their own sanitation crew, everything, okay? Self-sufficient. When you take this company, you merge it into your next company that has the same exact things, the same exact job titles, the same exact positions, then there's an overlap. And then this is the reason why I tried to explain to y'all before that a lot of these large companies through AI go through the employees with a number system. The number system is used to evaluate you. If you fall below a certain number, let's say, I'm just going to say, you know, some use letters, some use numbers or whatever. I'm just going to say the number system, my number is from 1 to 100, right? And let's say that you fell to a 70. That's the same thing in school. In a 70, you're there, but are you the best in your class? And if you're dealing with a $3 trillion company, now that's saying that they got $3 trillion on hand. It's just saying that they are worth $3 trillion, okay? You can't go touting $3 trillion that you become the most wealthiest company and have these layoffs. Now, the layoffs, in a sense, isn't done because of financials. The layoffs is done, in a sense, because a lot of these positions are already taken. So you go into the AI, you go and figure out who's the best for what position that you have, and you whittle it down that way. Now it's something like I forgot how many employees it was. It was a lot. It was a couple of thousand. It was like 60,000 employees, and they lost 2,000. 1,900 to be exact. And I'm not to try to trivialize anything. Now, we don't know anything what Microsoft is doing, but what I do know with big jobs and big companies is they do have a staff or a section, a company that is made to find work for those out of work employees that did sign the deal, because a lot of times they send a deal through, and if you sign the deal, then you're able to like get a severance and stuff like that, and then put on fast track. For a lot of these companies, a lot of the employees, it's more about the benefits and less about the pay. If you know, like I know, if you have a family and you're growing up, or even if you don't have a family, I dare you as a college student that graduated, go find a good dentist. Go find a good primary doctor. Maybe you don't need it now, but maybe you're going to need it later. God forbid something happened to you and you have like a chronic something and you need medication that costs a boatload, but under the original plan, it pays well. Under the new plan, it may not pay that well. So my heart goes out to those individuals that are in these circumstances where this is not a beneficial thing for them. I'm not saying that it's beneficial for anyone, but this is what happens in big tech. It sucks. It's bad. And at the end of the day, there's no excuse for it when, we champion a merger. I championed the merger, everybody else did, and we're looking at it as consumers. Big tech don't care when they raise the price on stuff on us. Big tech doesn't care when they do things. So as a consumer, yeah, my heart goes out to the fellow, and I'm acting like they're common people like myself. My heart goes out to them. God forbid the man or the woman that just had a baby and they're dealing with that, or just purchased a house or apartment. Just, it's a lot of things. And you're dealing with so many different people with so many diverse backgrounds, with so many different circumstances. Stuff is going to arise. And now this next topic is two birds with one stone. It's going to be two birds with one stone. All right, first let's talk about Odyssey, and let's talk about it's a survival Blizzard game that a team at Blizzard was working at that got canned. They got that's it. It's like Factions. Remember how Factions was in development for like 6 years? Well, Activision Blizzard King, Blizzard themselves had a survival game called Odyssey. I knew nothing of this game. I'm not even going to sit here and hold you. It wasn't like, I'm going to give you a comparison to Factions, because a lot of dudes is putting Factions up and telling me to have the same energy that I had with Factions that I should have with this one, right? Let me explain. It's whatever. Factions is a known quantity. It's a game that came out already. It's something that was anticipated and something that we knew about that was going to come out. Activision Blizzard themselves was putting out this survival type of game, new IP. It wasn't testing well. Frame rate and everything I heard was bad, and the game got canned. So the game gets canned, and that's it. It came out as like a double whammy, to be honest with you, because when you let go of 1,900 people and then you can a game that gaming division people was with, that's part of the layoffs. It looks bad. It's terrible optics, but like I told you before, you rip off the Band-Aid, and if the game wasn't performing well or if it didn't meet the criteria, the last thing you want is another Redfall, something that is being held over from an old regime that you look at and is not up to snuff. They have different teams now that's in place, so that another Redfall will not happen. So this thing could have been in Redfall in the making, and Microsoft wasn't eating that. They're not taking no more bad press with that, so that game got folded. And, for people out there that was anticipating this game, I'm sorry. Me personally, I didn't know anything about the game, so again, I'm learning about it today with the layoffs. So that part I'm talking about. Another part is Mike Ybarra. Mike Ybarra, I know Mike Ybarra. I've met Mike Ybarra. Me and Mike Ybarra talked a long time ago when I was at E3 and he was working for Microsoft. At that point in time, Mike Ybarra had been at Microsoft for a long period of time. I think it's like 20-something years, I guess. And I thought Mike was going to be there, for a while. The conversation that me and him was having, we talking about Destiny, we talk about PUBG, we talk about all types of stuff. And cool down to earth dude. I had a couple of differences with some stuff, but peace is peace, love is love. It is what it is. Then he leaves and he goes to Blizzard and he becomes the head of Blizzard. Now, my thing was, how is it going to play out when he comes back inevitably in this acquisition? Well, at BlizzCon, it seemed like he was down, like he was on board, like he was riding, and then his abrupt departure. Matt Booty puts out a statement, and then Jason Schreier, I don't know if Jason Schreier came first or Matt came first or whatever, but Jason Schreier comes out and, he has a statement, and then, Mike puts out something on his page, and, this is I want to know what's up. I want to really know what's the deep-rooted problem that Mike Ybarra has with Microsoft. Is it a problem with somebody there? Did they try to put him in a position where they had somebody that was over him? And being the head of Blizzard, when you answer probably to nobody, except for Bobby Kotick, I don't know, man. That's a question that I would love to have him on. I want full disclosure, Mike Ybarra. I don't want Mike Ybarra under NDA. I want Mike Ybarra that's able to talk, because something happened that he left the first time. Because when I was speaking to him, he was in a good space. He was in a good space. And Mikey seems like the dude that wears his heart on his sleeve. So he was in a good space. The conversations that we were having, it was good space conversations. And then I saw him at BlizzCon and he was like, this is my first BlizzCon, this, that, and the third. And it just seemed like good space. And for this to transpire, for him to leave this abruptly, was it the 1,900 people? I don't know what it was. But it was something enough to have him just take his chips and leave, cash him out and just let him go. It's strange. That's strange. That's strange fruit, but it's something deeper there. And I think that's something that we need to keep an eye out, keep a quiet eye out for that, because him and Rod Ferguson, they both, dipped out. Does Rod dip out? We got to figure this stuff out, man. These questions got to be answered. But next topic, and we'll close this out. Apple flinched. And now they're going to let you be able to put streaming apps on the iOS store. I don't have an Apple phone. Full disclosure, I have an Android. And for some of you weirdos, that's a complete turn off, and I'm a broke boy. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine those words. Get over yourself, weirdos. But the fact of the matter is this. Game Pass on iPhones opens up the market to Microsoft, to a market that was closed to them. They already have Android. And soon it's going to be in every Samsung box shipped. The Game Pass app will be on. Same thing with the TVs, same thing with LG and stuff like that. But this in particular, having the ability to use the iPhone's ecosystem to push Game Pass, I think this is where the xCloud comes out of beta. You're going to see Microsoft pushing xCloud and the efficiencies to those blades. Wow. I didn't expect that. And this news would have flew under the radar because of all the stuff that's going on with Microsoft at the time right now. But this is huge news. This is big. This is taking Game Pass to a whole new level. This is taking Xbox to a whole new level. This is putting them in front of an audience that is just as large as the Android audience. And that is where you want to be. Like when you're an app, you don't want to be on just these phones. You want to be on all phones. So this is a victory. That's a win. And Microsoft seems to be, with Xbox Game Pass, getting into doors that was previously closed to them. This is huge. Don't ever misconstrue my words. With this somber tone that I have right now, it's just because 1,900 people. You understand? So, at the same time, maybe this opens up a new division. And they can hire some of those guys over there to for this new division. But man, oh man, Game Pass is going to be in full swing. And with games like Power World taking over, now you could be playing Power World in the cloud on your iPhone and your Android devices. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. When I told you we will keep the boot on Sony's neck this whole generation, hashtag no PlayStation 6, you thought you was going to get out of this video without that. It's not going to happen. Kong will die. And we're here to make sure that he doesn't live to see another generation. App season. Get your apps. Hot apps here. Get your apps. Well, this is the part where I tell you, like, follow, and subscribe. And try to play the Game Pass.